What's good, everybody? My name is Mr. Peters. Today, we're talking about multi-step equations. I have three very helpful tips that'll make that process of solving multi-step equations easy. So let's get started. So in the first step, guys, what we need to do is check for distribution, right? Check to see if we have to distribute. And if we look at this problem, there's two places where we need to distribute, and I'm underlining it right for us. So the first one, right, we're going to multiply 9 times n and 9 times -4. And once we do that, guys, we're going to get 9n minus 36. And then the -7n, remember, it's not in the parentheses, so we do not need to multiply 9 and -7n. So now we go on to the other side. And guys, understand that 32 minus 2, we are not going to subtract. Order of operations plays into this, and that means that we're going to take that 2 and we're going to multiply, right, distribute it to what's inside the parentheses. And just remember that it's a -2, so when we multiply it by positive n, we're going to get -2n, and when we multiply -2 and 8, we'll get -16. Now, after the very first step of this distributing, if needed, right, it's not always needed, we're going to then combine like terms. So I tell students, combine like terms on the same side first before you start trying to move things from one side to the other. So when I look here, I'm going to combine 9n and -7n, right? So we clean up the left side and we have 2n minus 36. And this is equal to, and I'm going to go on the opposite end and I'm going to do the same thing. So we circle both the like terms on the other side. So when we combine those, we're going to get -2n. And after we do 32 minus 16, we'll get positive 16. Now, guys, this is where it gets a little tricky. A lot of students stop here because they think that the two ends are going to cancel out. But what I want to tell you is make sure that it does. Just double check. So another helpful tip before we go on is we can maneuver this equation in so many ways. And this is what I mean. So I could add 2n to itself on this side and then go on to the other side and add 2n as well. Once I do that, guys, this is what I'm going to get, right? We bring everything else down because we did not combine our constants, those numbers without variables. That's what 36, I'm sorry, and 16 are. Those are constants. So now, very important thing, right? Variables and constants can't be on the same side of the equation. So that means I could leave 4n where it's at, and let's bring 36 to the other side of the equal sign. And because it's a -36, right? To get it to 0, we're going to have to add it now, right? Because that's the only way it's going to cancel out on that left side. So we cancel it out now, and we go on the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add 36. So now we're at the last step, guys. Well, almost at the last step. We have a final answer of 4n is equal to positive 52. Just remember, guys, we still have not solved. We did not get n by itself. So think of, it says 4 times n is equal to 52. So when we're solving these equations, we're going to have to divide by 4 so that we could get n by itself. And when we do that, we could simplify that fraction of 54 over 4 to n is equal to 13. Now, what I really want to do is just slide out to the side and let's take the equation from this step, but let's solve it in a different way. And this is what I mean. Because students a lot of times think that there's only one way to solve. And guys, I want to tell you, there's just so many ways to solve this same problem. Do what works best for you. So when we come back now, right? I first added 2n. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna combine the constants and I'm gonna switch the whole equation around. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract 16, right? So I subtract 16 from itself and I subtract 16 from its like term of -36. So now we're cleaning this up and we have 2n minus 52 is equal to -2n. right? So now we understand that, hey, we're cleaning this up, Mr. Peters, but we know that this variable and constant can't be on the same side. So I'm going to move that positive 2n to the other side. Then because it's positive, I'm going to subtract it from itself to get it to 0. And then I'll go on the other side and do the same thing. So guys, please understand right here, we have negative 52 is equal to negative 4n, right? And we know that once we divide by negative 4, right, negative 52 divided by negative 4, negative divided by negative, that'll give us 13 as our answer. So, guys, this is what makes this so hard. It's the fact that we could solve it in more than one way. So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk about one more problem with you guys. But before we do that, if you found this video helpful, if it's helped you in any type of way, we're going to ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, smash the like button for us, let us know we're doing a good job, and just leave any comments down below. If there's something that we could do better, or if you have any questions, man, we're here to answer questions. All right, so let's keep on going. So in the last problem for today now, guys, we're looking at this equation here. We have negative 15. Right? I'm sorry, I'm not going to say the whole thing. Let's just write it out real quick. All right, so we're going through this equation, right? So let's do step one. So step one, check to see if we need to distribute. We do not need to distribute, right? So let's go to step two, combine like terms. So when I look at this problem, we have like terms here, and then there's one other one on the opposite side. So what I tell students, hey, clean it up first before we start moving things to the other side, right? And understand that when the variables, not even variables, when the like terms are on the same side of the equal sign, guys, we don't have to cancel it out. So if you're here and you add 2x to itself and then add it to 4x, I'm sorry to say this is absolutely wrong, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this problem and we're going to go through this and find out what exactly is the value for x. So the same way we see it is the same way we're going to take care of it. So the left side stays the same because we're going to focus on the right. So we do the subtraction, right? 4x minus 2x. We have 2x left over. Now remember, variable constant cannot be on the same side. So what is going to be the best term for us to move? What do you guys think? Comment below for me. Yeah. So 3x is going to be the best thing for us to move, or the best term, I should say, right? Because once we move 3x to the other side, negative 15, that constant is on one side of the equal sign, and now the variables are on the opposite. So how do we do this now? Well, if 3x is negative, that means I'm going to have to add it to itself so that it cancels out and becomes 0. And I'm going to do the same thing, I'm sorry, on the opposite side of the equal sign. So now I have negative 15 is equal to 2x plus 3x, which is just 5x. And guys, we're at the very last step, which is just solve the equation. So step one, distribute if needed. We didn't need it here. So we went on to step two. Step two, I said, hey, if we have like terms, add them on this same side first, then start moving things from one side to the other. After we're done adding or combining all our like terms, the last thing we're going to do is solve for the equation, for the variable, which is where we're at right now. So we know that 5 times the number x is equal to negative 15. To figure out what x is, we're going to divide by 5. And we know that negative 3 is equal to x. Or if you want to say x is equal to negative 3, it's all the same thing. But thank you guys for joining us today, man. I'm Mr. Peters. This is solving equations with variables on both sides. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Join us next time.